Hey, we're legitimate, and I guess that means that we've started. We're going to just start, and I'm going to simply go across my screen. So, we can give some brief introductions just so everybody knows who. Mark.
Good morning, everybody. I started a nonprofit back in 2017 called, at the time it was called Rally for Riley, and it was following the coworkers, toddlers, very, very bad accident, left him with a C2 complete spinal cord injury, and he's on a ventilator. So long story short, we've progressed, we're growing. We are a 501c3 nonprofit organization, and now we're able to help other families as well as Riley. We hold an annual golf tournament. So a little over 4 years, we've raised a little over, right about $500,000. And our golf tournament produces a really, really high number of revenues every year, which we're really grateful for that. But our goal is just to, we're still young. Our goal is to still, continue networking with other organizations with similar visions and goals and things that are aligned with our mission and everything. I contacted Rick just out of the blue, which I still think that was a relationship that was meant to be. Just out of the blue, I was looking at United Spinal Association and saw Rick was the local chapter contact and reached out to him. And so far we've got a good relationship going. So yeah, just continue networking and be a resource for spinal cord injuries in San Diego, and just see what we can do, how much good we can do.
Jamila?
Wow, Mark, that is impressive. I was just thinking one of the organizations that I try to help with fundraising for throughout the year is for mitochondrial disease research. Totally unrelated, but I'm like, how do you raise that much money? That is amazing. Of course, it's different when you're raising money for research, but yeah, I want to talk with you about this golf.
Sure.
I don't golf. What's a golf
Tournament.
Oh my gosh, thank you. Rick, the coffee's not kicked in yet. I have not had time. Anyway, I'm so pleased to be here. My name is Jamila. I work for the San Diego Community College District. Sorry if it's a little loud in the background. I have Umi's Zoomy trying to entertain my 1.5-year-old daughter who actually wants to come say hi. So here's Joelle.
Hey, Joe.
Superstar.
She's met Joe several times. Can you say hi?
Yeah,
Hi,
hey,
baby.
But I'm a counselor with the Community College District, and I manage a program called Workability 3. And we support college students who are clients of Department of Rehabilitation with employment, internships, work experience, part-time work, full-time work, whatever it is they would like. We work with them, could be 6 months, it could be on the high end 6 years. People have different lengths of time that they need support. And so we work with students with disabilities, with all types of disabilities. So I will say that spinal cord injury is one of the more rare ones that we see. And I think part of that is that I think that there are a number of folks out there that they're not coming to college, or they need maybe some encouragement, some outreach. But I do think that because of the way that we're delivering education and, the remote revolution, so to speak, there's definitely a lot of opportunities for folks to participate. We have a really large, wonderful, non-credit, free, accessible, wonderfully supportive disability support service programs and services program, which includes a lot of different classes people can take. So one of the reasons I'm here is just to, kind of bridge that gap between folks with disabilities who are maybe like not utilizing the services of, the college system, Department of Rehabilitation, and programs like Workability 3. So sorry if that was a little disjointed. I didn't expect to have the babe, but she says hi. So I'm gonna pick Kelly. So I want to hear about access tracks.
Awesome. Thank you. Well, it's great to hear about the programs that you're working with too. I have some questions for you offline as well. So yes, my name's Kelly. I'm the CEO of Access Tracks. We're a local San Diego based company that is working to empower people with physical disabilities to access the outdoors. And I do that because I'm an occupational therapist and was inspired back in 2016 when I was an OT student to, as a school project, come up with something to help people who were adaptive surfers be able to cross sand at the beach. So we came up with something and realized that this could help millions of people around the world. And it is no longer a school project and it's a full-fledged business. So yeah, it's been an exciting journey.
So cool, like a dream come true. Like you have your project in school and it actually pays off. Like that's great.
Yeah,
awesome.
It's really fun. I mean, definitely challenging. I didn't set out to be an entrepreneur. It's just kind of found me. But I listened to that calling and decided that this was worth all the risk. And I get to work with a lot of amazing people and their stories, and just yeah, it's really great. So we've been able to serve customers across 15 countries so far, and we just got our patent last month. So well on our way to growing the business and making an impact, because really, I just would love to see our product helping people in every country around the world. So
that's amazing.
Thank you. And we rent and sell the portable pathway. To give you an idea of what it looks like, each piece is a 3 foot by 3 foot square mat that you connect to each other on all 4 sides, depending on what kind of pathway configuration you need at the moment. And each piece only weighs 5 pounds. So families can, let's say, take 5 or 10 of these pieces on an airplane checked as luggage, and they can go to Hawaii or wherever they're going, for example, if they're traveling, or they could put it in the trunk of their car if they're just going to the beach or the park or camping. So lots of portable applications for that. And then we also serve government entities and a ton of adaptive sports nonprofits. So it's exciting.
That is amazing.
Thank you.
Hey, Pete.
Hi. So I'm with Paralyzed Veterans of America, the chapter here in San Diego. I work at the VA Medical Center, and I've been here, I guess, 9 years. My background, though, started in 1984 in adapting a water ski program for Mission Bay Aquatic Center, sailing, kayaking, rowing. Brought that program around the country. And it's funny, Kelly, you were right before me. We started, when we were doing it on the beach, doing the programs on the beach, first it was lifting people. Then we used heavy rubber mats that, each one was, backbreaker. Including use some military landing strips, some of the metal to help do that. So seeing this, and I've also worked with Disabled Service Advisory Committee for the city of San Diego. You're probably familiar with their beach chairs, et cetera. I've kind of my fingers in lots of water sports, and really literally around the country. So that's an interesting product. And, certainly if you're working with nonprofits, or programs like that, something I probably want to talk to you about. I know a lot of groups who could utilize that specific product. Lots of
yes.
groups. And,
We also work with the Department of Veterans Affairs. So we've sold to recreation therapists, different, VA centers across the country. So definitely would love to get San Diego to be on board for that. So yeah, love to talk after.
Yeah, and there are several events we have here that would make sense for you to be involved in, including the summer clinic, which would have been held just a little bit ago. Do at La Jolla Shores. We also do it down. I mean, it's spread throughout the city, and really Coronado and Imperial Beach, and even with the city of San Diego, because even though I retired from that committee, I'm still active with that group. So I'll get away from that, but let's talk. I think I see your information here, so I'll contact you here in a little bit. So, and helicopter in the background, and your Kelly, is that,
Yes.
who's that?
Yeah, my husband is a veteran. Yes. He was in
Okay.
the Navy. He was a rescue swimmer.
Okay, my son is at Pensacola Flight School flying helicopters.
All right,
So,
there we go.
Sorry, I digress for the personal stuff, but
No, that's okay.
and I
All part of it.
Yeah, it was very cool, and thank you for his service. Thank him for his service too. So yeah, that's my background. I work a lot. We were out fishing yesterday we had a half-day boat, and so it's super active in the community. Rick and I have talked quite a bit. Appreciate this group being put together, and looking forward to meeting all of you in person at some point in time.
Definitely.
Yes. Hey, Elena?
Good
Good
morning.
morning. Hi.
Morning.
So I work at Disability Rights California. It's a statewide organization, but I do one small piece, which is the WIPA program. And through that program, it's a Social Security grant that allows us to work with people receiving Social Security benefits who are making that transition back to work. So they're preparing for work, searching for work, or actually just started working. And they have a lot of questions about what will happen to my benefits. Can I keep Medicare? Can I keep Medi-Cal? What will happen to my housing assistance? So if they have questions like that, they can call us, and we actually do one-on-one in-depth benefits counseling. So that's a small piece of what I do here at Disability Rights California. And I've worked with a lot of your, I've worked with Jamila's clients. I worked with veterans. So that's what I've been doing. And I've been doing that now we're on our second round contract. So we just got approved for another 5 years. So we'll be around for another 5 years at least.
Good. Glad to hear that. Bernadette?
Hi, good morning, everyone.
Good
Morning.
So I'm Bernadette. I'm a recreation therapist at Sharp Rehab Center. I've been here for 20 years. My background is I've been a rec therapist here at Sharp. I used to work for the city of San Diego. And I've worked with many of the patients here. Our main patients here that we have at rehab, stroke survivors, brain injury survivors, and also newly spinal cord injured patients. We used to hold the Spinal Network meetings here at Sharp, and someday we'll hopefully get back to that, but we're not able to meet in person yet. So we've always just give resources to the meetings and any kind of resources for any of our patients for spinal cord, brain injury, for everything. So I'm glad I'm part of this, because I would love to talk more to Kelly, because we do a lot of adapted sports activities. And then any of the programs. I also run a stroke support group, so I'd love to hear more from Elida too. And then, yeah, so happy to be here. Thank you.
Well, thanks. Sean?
Hello, Sean.
I know. We're going. So I'm wondering if Sean is also the 614.
Maybe it's fake Sean.
Yeah. Well, sometimes he goes on and he logs on with his phone as well. So, but we're going to move forward. And Sean will let us know when he comes back. So, I mean, the next thing was, so how does this work? How do we benefit individually, collectively? I think individually, we've seen a little bit of that just in the introductions. By each of us knowing what the other does, it ends up or could end up where something that a service or a product ends up being a need from another group or groups. So with that connection being made, that individually that can be a benefit. Collectively, I was telling people about the group, and I said, here's just how, how this type of networking group could work. I have an event that we're putting on, and I send it out to our email, and maybe it goes out to, and I just tossed out 400 people, 400 members. So now, being a part of this group, I share it with this group, and now the word, instead of going out to, say, 400 people, might be going out to 1,200 people. So the thought process behind putting this together was simply to network, so that we could all network, and not just companies, and not just nonprofit organizations, and not just agencies, but a nice mix, so that as each of us either puts on their own event, or takes place, or participates in an event, we can share that with everybody else. And that where it makes sense, we can help to promote that. It also, for those of us who have, well, honestly, for all of us, the fact that there can be, there may be, Pete may have some veterans that he's working with, and maybe they want to become a member of Spinal Network as well, or we have members that want to be. And what's Pete? What's the official? I know that I belong, but when a civilian joins the PVA, is that is there a particular?
You're an associate member.
An associate member, okay.
Yeah.
So just, some of that, Jamila and her program, by getting the word out, maybe we can help to fill that, fill that pipeline, with Bernadette when she's running her programs. I think there's a lot of different ways for us to network and co-support, where not only do we each benefit individually, but I think as a group, that collectively, we benefit. And I think just the absolute bottom line is, whether our members are the folks that we provide services to, will all benefit. It will, San Diego County, the disability community within San Diego County will benefit from this group. So anybody, and jump in. This is, I may just toss the first paragraph or paragraphs out as I'm talking, but jump in if you have something you want to add, something to share, something to, whatever. That's what this group's about, all of us. So anybody want to add anything to that?
Hi, it's Bernadette.
Yes.
And here at Sharp, I teach an education class to the inpatients for spinal cord. And we're constantly updating our newsletter, our community resources that we give out to all the newly injured patients here and their families. So I think it'd be great if we email a little blurb about everything that we offer, so that way I can put it in our newsletter that we send out to everybody. So it's people that are in the Spinal Network, newly injured patients and families, and just anybody in the community that even knows anybody who has a spinal cord injury. We send out this newsletter to hundreds of people. So if you guys want to email a little blurb of your companies and where you work and your duties, then I can always send that out to our mailing list.
Sounds great. It sounds great.
And Bernadette and everybody here, I'm president of the San Diego Festival of the Arts Foundation. Sharp has been, I'm trying to think, we're probably about $250,000 of contributions to Sharp. I think they named a room after our foundation, but I definitely will keep people in the loop. We just held it for the first time in 2 years, but we do a lot of foundation grants. Sharp is one of our primary. In fact, I started in 1986, 87 with the water sports. And that's where, Kelly, that's where we started picking people up and then getting the mats and trying to do all of that. And years ago we had, yes, the young enthusiastic stroke survivors, and we took them sailing, et cetera. So that water sports and the connection to Sharp for me and the foundation goes back, well, to last millennium. So that's, I'll keep that in there too, Bernadette. And I will, Kelly, be definitely talking with you because we have some other events coming up that I think those, and even getting the mats to the festival so you can showcase them would be a good thing.
Yes, hi, Peter. Yes, it was a great festival. I was there on the Sunday of the festival. We're very grateful to your cause and everything at Sharper, one of the beneficiaries, and really, really appreciate everything that you do for us. And then as for the BS group, the Young Enthusiastic Stroke Survivors, I'm in charge of that group now. So yeah, so it's still running, and you know, we offer a lot of programs to our stroke survivors as well still.
One thing I realized, I never said anything about Spinal Network, and Spinal Network is a nonprofit primarily centered around the San Diego County, and we offer resources and services from peer mentoring, and we have our Monday hangout on Zoom, at least for now, and you know, our focus has been on education and employment, and you know, trying to get people, you know, once they're at that point where they're ready to take life in the next step in a forward direction, and whether it be via school or right back into the workplace. But recently, a couple of things, and we started a community outreach program, and we wanted to start small, and we every other Saturday, this Saturday will be one of those. We do our walk, roll, and stroll down at South Shores Park on Mission Bay. We meet there on Saturdays at 9:30, and Jamila has joined us, and we have Richard Green from Sharp joined us, and we've had our members, and I mean, there's a nice paved path. It's just great at 9:30 in the morning, right on the bay. Then we go out, come back, and we decided this Saturday we're probably going to make 2 trips out. So it'll be about 2.5 miles, a little over that. And we're starting an assistive technology loan closet that'll be available really to anybody who has that need within the county. So anyway, that's enough there. And I want to thank Jamila. She came up with the Mobility Community Access Project name, and you know, it's nice to have that. You know, you can toss around MCAP, you know, and then somebody go, "What's that?" So it's a nice lead-in. And I mentioned a mission statement, and it should be mission statement with a question mark, logo with a question mark, branding with a question mark. Because I want to, you know, see if that's the next step, one of the next steps that we would like to take. And I do want to, I'm going to share this screen. And just because it was part of what was sent out. And and I thought, well, maybe this part here gives us the beginning of a mission statement, or maybe not. Maybe we take a look at more of what's going on here as being to fabricate a mission statement. And I'm not talking about putting that mission statement together right now. That's easily something that can be done via an email thread or using Google Docs, where, you know, where we can edit and keep people updated on things. The logo as well, you know, once if we put together a mission statement and we have the name, well then, you know, we can come up with the logo and then how to brand that. So anyway, before I move on to number 4, if anybody has anything that they would like to add?
I think it's a great start, Rick.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Definitely
echo that too, because I'm on a lot of committees where it takes like hours and weeks in between to even get to this point. So I think you're off to a really good start. It's really encouraging.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, I love that. And I love the idea of having a running Google Doc that we all have access to, because
Mhm.
I'm envisioning as well, how to share events and resources with each other. It may be nice to have a document or a Google Sheet or something of the sort where we can all just go in and post our events that are coming up
Mhm.
in one place so that we can all just go access that. Because sometimes email chains can get lost or too long, and then you go,
Mhm.
oh, where did I find that one thing?
Yeah.
So having
Yeah.
Google Doc is a great idea.
Or
I agree.
you miss one and you're thinking, okay, how come, what are they talking about? And one of the things that I added into just under website, I did put, we're trying this new thing, this events calendar, and there's we use WordPress as the platform, and we're trying this events calendar, and we're looking to actually have it as a community calendar. So everything that we're all doing, if you send me that information, I can put that into the calendar. And, I'm going to put that link in the signature for my email. So, if anybody happens to glance down, they may see, community calendar, click on it, and they'll see all that's going on. The other thing and I think I have just about everybody. Pete, is Steve back yet? Is Steve back yet? Pete?
He should be in today. Sorry
Okay.
about that.
No, that's okay. That's okay. I wanted
I have it. I have my, it's funny you guys talk about Google Docs, and I'm kind of I still have a flip phone and I use index cards for my notes. So on my index card for Steve is to talk about, oh, thank you.
It's
Thank
the
you.
logo. Yeah.
The youth of today is not lost after all.
I was going to comment too when Kelly was talking about the Google Docs, and I've recently had to shift to that, and then I'm also learning how to use Teams for that same reason, and so I'm kind of having to pivot between a lot of different systems throughout the day. And I just want to say, for those folks that are here that aren't familiar with what we're talking about, or maybe like it's kind of like, oh, another new piece of technology, if you're at all interested in learning, this is a really good, safe opportunity for you to practice. I would just, I know it can get sort of overwhelming sometimes, and I don't want to assume anything, but I'm going to guess, just based on, the general population, that there's maybe one or two people in here that aren't familiar with like a shared document, but it is really cool and it is
Very
really
cool.
efficient. So if anybody wants any support in that area, if that's a way that we go, let me know. I'm good at like tutorials and trying to help folks understand. And it's easier than you might think. It's just kind of, I'm resistant to change. I'm resistant to learning new things. I should just embrace it, because it's just, I keep getting new things sent my way. So I'm like, okay, just got to do it. But if anybody needs any support with that, let us know.
Thank you.
And, Camila, that'll be every time for me because I'm old and I forget stuff.
Well,
And I've been in
challenge
his office. So
accepted
it's
if you're down.
good.
Change is good. Yeah.
This next part, I think, is really the kind of the crux of this, the centering part of this meeting. And what what networking tools we have, and social media is probably the most important. I know I don't know about everybody else. Well, Pete, I do know that you do, and I know Bernadette does, and we put out a monthly newsletter as well. In fact, I'm working on that. So it can go out Monday or Tuesday of next week. And part of what I'm going to do in it will be, again, links to that events calendar, but also I'm going to introduce this group on that newsletter. And But social, and the website, of course, we all have websites, and some of this will make sense to include, and some of it probably won't. So that'll be for everybody to decide. But social media, we all utilize social media, and whether it be Facebook. I put down 4 things because I think those probably are 4 things that I know. I didn't say know how to use them. I know. I just know of them. I do Facebook. Twitter. I just have never been able to figure that one out. And so, but I have people that do. And then I put what other platforms, because as Jamila and I were talking yesterday, and she was mentioning how Facebook is kind of becoming, not as widely used as it used to be. And which I really need to realize that, because I tend to gravitate towards that because I probably understand it the most. But that there's other platforms too. And I'm not sure what other platforms people are using for their social media. So I figured let's put what other platforms, so that maybe we can all learn about them. But if we all, and I can follow up with an email, and we can, or maybe we do this under Google Docs, but we should all share the account names for our social media, so that we can follow each other. I went on Facebook and I said, okay, before we do this meeting, I'm going to set up the MCAP Facebook group, private group, and I'll invite everybody. And I went to invite, and I go, well, the only person on there that was Jamila. So I invited Jamila, and I'm going, I don't know, everybody else's, your business or organization or agency, or however you want to be followed, or maybe it's your private one and you don't want it on there. But anyway, if you could share that with the group, from being on the emails, I mean, you should have access to, oh, you know what? I'm wondering if I did a blind copy. Oh, could somebody just check on an email to see if all of our emails come up?
In the Zoom invite, the calendar invite,
Oh,
I
yeah,
can
yeah,
see
yeah.
everybody's emails. Yeah, so if you go to today's Zoom invite, you should see it.
Okay, because I just thought about that. And I thought, oh my gosh, wait a minute, maybe I was trying to protect everybody's identity, so I did blind copy. But so if you want to be followed, if you want to get the invite for at least the MCAP Facebook group, then you would need to share that information. But let's talk about let's talk about the social media and networking. And I'm going to let somebody else take over from here, just because they would probably know it better than I. So anybody.
When we first started our organization, I'm not very knowledgeable on social media when we first started, not that I am now. But my take on it was, we never expected to gain anything financially out of social media. It was more about connecting with people and being able to spread awareness about what we do. And I think down in the back of my mind, it would be cool to secure corporate sponsorships, but I realized that they're not going to come from social media, or chances are very slim they're going to come from social media, at least where we're at this point. So I think for us, it was just more so gaining relationships and spreading awareness were the biggest things for us.
Mm-hmm.
And it still continues as we're growing.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. It's being able to get the word out,
Mhm.
trying to connect with more people and, promote events.
Sure.
Though I don't know how, well, at least with us, how effective that's been as far as promoting events, using Facebook anyway. Maybe it has. I don't know. Pete, when you're doing your events, is it primarily through the website and your newsletter? Is that how you get the word out, or do you send out, you send out email blasts? Or you have somebody who does that?
And that's right, yeah, I'm, as I described, pretty feeble and all of that. My flip phone doesn't do much of that
Yeah.
fancy stuff. But Steve does, and he
Yeah.
is really good with that. You do remember, though, we kind of a focus group. There's about 420 members, paralyzed veterans.
Mhm.
Obviously, our reach is greater than that because, first of all, our personal involvement, but we mentor a lot of the veterans are involved in the community as well. So for our events, they're a little bit more specific. Going to, if you will, my second position, the Festival of the Arts president. That does have a wider reach, but those are also grant opportunities, funding that people write to us to do that. So that's how, we can get the word out that way. And we do have that. We work with Senio Magazine. They are our communications and PR folks. So we do have that available. Steve is super. Steve is the one who, Steve Sheldon is his name, who is our communications director. And he does all of that stuff. He has, in the VA, there's only one Mac in the entire place, and it's his. Because, that's just for whatever reason, he likes that platform.
Yeah.
But he can do that. He does amazing work. His degree is in that, and he's been doing it for many, many years. So we can get the word out. Again, with my involvement with the city and also with the Festival of the Arts, we do have ways to do that. But specifically to your question, Rick, it's pretty much directed to, we do the email blast, we do have Facebook, we do, and whatever those grams are, Insta, Net, or, I can't keep track of that stuff. But it is, and we also, since our office is on the spinal cord injury unit at the hospital here, we're able to see individuals that come through the door. So we can talk to them directly. And we also have some pretty enthusiastic participants, and they like to get the word out as well. Yeah. Real quick, I'm going to divert just for a second. For the foundation and the festival, we do the snow skiing up in Durango, and that application will be coming out fairly soon. If you have anybody you think they have to be a year post-injury, relatively new injury, and what we like to do is it's their first time. We're going to put them on an airplane. They're going to travel up to Durango. We typically have done host families, but they may be a hotel because of COVID. If you have eligible people that you would like to send to me, please let me know and we'll get them an application. So that is coming up. We just finished the festival. My head's still spinning, but we send about 15 people up there every year. So to everybody here, if you have somebody in mind, please let me know who that is. Thank you.
Very good.
Quick question on that one, Pete. Do they have to be a veteran, or can it be anybody who's spinal cord injury?
And anybody with spinal cord, or even it doesn't necessarily have to be spinal cord injury. If we sent up 15 folks with spinal cord injuries, we do it over the course of about 3, 4 or 5 weeks. They wouldn't have enough. It's personnel, it's equipment, and they have an amazing stockpile of stuff. We have purchased stuff for them for a number of years, but it can be all kinds of injuries. We have amputees, and even to veterans with PTS, that sort of. So it is a wide range of injuries. Again, 1 year post-injury, typically haven't done something like this before. A lot of the times, as many of you have experienced, it's a life-changing experience, and that I think that's why we're all here, to make a difference.
Great program.
Great,
Yeah.
thank you. I have a couple people I'll tell.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that, Peter. It's Bernadette at Sharp. I had someone email me last week asking if the program was happening this winter. So I have someone interested too.
Yeah, super. Debbie Moore contacted me. She was actually the impetus behind me getting this underway. And yes, somebody used Google Docs at up at Durango. So I just contacted Anne Marie and said, Anne Marie, help. So you have your work cut out for you.
Aleda, you're the only person on right now who's, no, I take that back, because we have 4 agencies we work with primarily. Michael and Leah, I didn't hear back from, but so Jamila and Aleda, on when you're getting the word out on things you're doing, is it primarily email blasts, or how do you get the word out when you're doing something? We're trying to figure out how each of us might be able to.
So I'm a part of a larger organization, so there is a whole department of people, or one person I think,
Mhm,
that does all our social media.
mhm,
And so I can work with them if we need to advertise something, but most of the presentations I do are people reaching out to me to present to their group. So they do all the advertising for their specific organization.
mhm.
And we are limited in the kind of the amount of outreach that we can do per our contract. And honestly, we have so much work. We don't need to advertise more than we, already do for our services. COVID has not stopped, has not slowed anything down for our little WIPA program that we do, which is great. But normally, when we're presenting, it's because somebody has hosted us and asked us to present to their particular group, and then they advertise. So I do presentations for every community: the developmental disability community, the mental health community. It's just them reaching out to me and asking for specific presentation. Even like other legal aids as well, who just need to know about our program so they know how to refer people. So I do have, if we needed to get something advertised, I could work with our folks that do our Facebook and I was looking at our website to see, it's like, what do we have? We definitely have all those, you know, and places to advertise, that they use. So.
Jamila?
Yeah, it's my situation is a little bit, it's similar to what Aleda was saying, is because of our contract and because there are certain requirements for people to participate. I can do some outreach, but not a ton, because then I can get dinged for not spending contracted time directly with clients. And so, but it's such a backward cycle, because if we need referrals, which we do, we really have to rely on the Department of Rehab for those referrals. But what I've been doing lately is every Wednesday, I do like a live Zoom session. It's called Workability Wednesdays, and anybody can join, ask questions, how to connect with our program, what we offer, how to connect with Department of Rehab. For the most part, this is being circulated via flyer and email with among the DSPS offices. So that's an internal network within the community colleges. But sometimes we'll do stuff like the flyer I attached in the chat. It says how to rock a job fair. I was asked by City College DSPS to do a workshop on how to navigate a career fair, how to prepare, what to expect. And so I developed something to address that, and also specifically prepare individuals for Jobtoberfest. And if you're not familiar with Jobtoberfest, this is the largest career fair specifically for individuals with disabilities in the San Diego region.
Okay.
And it will be remote this year. Like last year, there's a specific platform that's called Remo, which takes a little bit of adjusting to, but the way that it's been explained to clients is that it's sort of like a video game. Like you're in this virtual space and you're moving around, and you go into this room and then you go into that room and you can talk to resource providers and employers. So anyway, that's something that's open to everyone. But we have our website. We do internal, sharing of, outreach and marketing and stuff, but I can follow and I can share information to our student population or to our staff. People that I know. I was just saying in the chat that I was able to search on Instagram for most of the organizations or resources or companies that are here and find you very easily. So unfortunately, I don't really have one for you to follow back, but they're probably, it's so specific to like the entry to our program is sort of like, there's certain requirements. So it's not something that I would outwardly, be promoting. What about everybody else?
I know we've got our email list. If I have the information, I include that in our monthly newsletter that goes out the beginning of the month. And you can put it on the website, but I think, and probably a very low percentage of the folks that on our email list, even our membership, are really engaged. Pete, you probably have a higher, significantly higher percentage, just because it's such a specific, you have such a specific audience that you target. And but I mean, we get people that they join, and sometimes I wonder why they've joined. Because they don't do anything. And maybe they join because they get a free subscription to New Mobility magazine. I don't know, but it's and it's not just us, because I'm the regional coordinator. Spinal Network's a chapter of United Spinal. And I'm the Western regional coordinator. So I coordinate all of the chapters in the Western states. And it's the same. I mean, it's that the percentage of folks that are actually, of your members that are actually active is really, really low. And that's, I was the chapter liaison for a year. So, I dealt with the 50 chapters, and for the most part, that's pretty much how it goes. So, but anyway, yeah. So we get that out to, and what we may be, when we do the every other Saturday thing. Maybe that's I mean, I'll be sharing that, and I think most of you get our email when we do events, just the Monday Hangouts. But the every other Saturday is open to anybody, disability or not. It's just a way to get out. It's a real social time. It's outdoors. It's cool at that time in the morning. You're right on the bay. So it's it's just not a send it out to the members type thing. So, but just a couple things. One is, I had made mention that we're only going to do this quarterly, and that's because I want to be sensitive to everybody's time. Everybody's asked to be on different committees and different things, and we're all being pulled in 18 different directions at the same time. So, unless there's a need to meet, on a Zoom platform or some platform similar, in between, and the group decides, yes, let's do that. That's one thing, but otherwise we'll do that. We'll do it quarterly. It will be nice once we get a little further down the road where maybe we can actually meet, and we meet for breakfast or something and have a breakfast meeting, where we're face to face. Also, when we do meet, really going to do everything in my power to keep it to an hour, again, to be sensitive to everybody's time. So, which we're closing in on. So I think at this point, I've got some things that I'm going to, via email and Google Docs, to follow up on. And if does anybody have anything that they would like to bring up or talk about before we end our meeting and go about our day?
I guess go ahead, Kelly.
Oh, okay, thank you. I was just going to say, great idea. I love this. I think that the networking and being able to help each other and amplify our individual missions, and then of course amplify the new MCAP mission. I think that's amazing. I look forward to hopefully seeing the shared Google Doc. Is that one of the things? Okay, great. Yeah, shared Google Doc. And then maybe in that Google Doc, there's a space for us all to add our contact information, just so that it's in one space, our email, phone number, if we want to add that. And then our social media, our website links and our social media links, we can all follow each other and help. And then our maybe sign up, a link to where we can sign up for each other's newsletters as well, or at least browse past newsletters. And then also another space where we can add upcoming events. And I know you mentioned there's the events calendar, Rick. So not sure if you'd like us to just use that, or if there are specific events that we can put on the Google Doc as well. That would be great. But yeah, thank you.
The events calendar is a plugin that we have on our site. So that's what we're going to use to, as a vehicle for, when people send events to me, I'm going to put them into that, and I'll have links wherever. Everybody, will, probably do something a little different, maybe, or not. I don't know. But the reason I brought that up and even put that link in the agenda was just to show you, this is something, and we're just in the introductory stage of this right now. I'm still trying to work with that plugin to get, to maximize the visibility and ease of use. So I will, and it'll probably be a couple different Google Docs, so that we, maybe the contact, and social media thing, maybe there's thanks, Aleda. Look for the follow-up email. Aleda needs to run off. And maybe there's I don't know, maybe we have a little template where if somebody, a Google Doc template for an event. So if somebody's going to run an event or they're going to participate in an event, maybe they go there, just fill that out. And then, any of us, can share that. I can take that, put it onto that events calendar, and maybe that'll make it easier. I don't know. And I think as we move forward, I think we'll begin to refine some of this, and including, we didn't get to jump on. The very last thing was, where do we go from here, or otherwise known as strategic planning. So that's going to end up being an email thread, or maybe, or whatever works best to do that. So just so that, because I want everybody to participate in that, because I want, because it needs to be where we see this going for each of us individually. And then again, where would we like this group to go as a group? Where would it best where would it be the best benefit to the community? So, and it's 10:02. I kept you over 2 minutes. My apologies. Thanks, everybody, for being on. Look for the emails and the Google Docs. Pete, if you'll have Jamila's email, and if you need to reach out to her, on the Google Doc thing,
I'm there. I'm on there all the time anyway. So if I can help, let me know. But yeah, I want to say I just really enjoyed meeting everyone. I learned more today in this brief amount of time about, I didn't know about the Festival of the Arts, kind of the history of Rally for Riley. It was a pleasure to meet you, Kelly, of Access Tracks. I've heard, so much about what you've done. I know Aleda from DRC, but it's always good to connect with her. Yeah, this has been really cool. And then Pete, what you were talking about with the trip to, was it Durango? Durango. Yeah. Just having that information in mind,
Mhm.
I store it somewhere in my head, and then I meet someone, or I think of someone that I think could benefit. I'm like, oh, who is that? Okay. So it's just kind of like it's in there. So, the seeds are planted. So thanks for being here, everyone. And if you ever have any, questions about me, community college, or my program, or anything, let me know. I'm happy to be a resource. So everybody have a good day.
I appreciate everybody's time and meeting everybody. And does anybody mind if I reach out to you via email? Because our biggest challenge is finding spinal cord injury survivors that need our financial help and our other types of assistance.
Wow.
And believe it or not, it's like we can't find them. So I'm thinking maybe.
What a great problem to have, though, right? Instead of the inverse, but it's so frustrating because you're like,
Yeah, so I'm thinking, Bernadette, if you don't mind, if I could reach out to you as well, is that okay?
Oh, yeah, definitely. We have so many patients here that could definitely benefit. Yeah, and then everybody email me about all your programs as well, and we'll get the word out as well to everybody on our mailing list. Thank you. Thanks, Mark.
Thank you, guys. Have a great day, everybody.
Take care, everybody. Thanks.
Bye. It was
Thanks.
nice meeting everybody.
Thanks, Rick.
You're welcome. Thanks. Good to see everybody.
You too. Have a good one.
Oh, Jamila, you had mentioned yesterday Jobtoberfest. Was there something with regard to Jobtober? Oops, she's gone. Sean, are you there?